massive glaciers, towering mountains, and plains populated with exotic animals, we certainly live in a vast and magnificent world. While pinpointing all of Mother Nature's greatest hits would take a lifetime, we believe these incredible vistas and awe-inspiring treasures, from Victoria Falls to the Grand Canyon, should be at the top of your bucket list. 1. Mount Everest. Mount Everest at 8,848.86 meters above sea level is the highest point on the planet. It's positioned right on the Nepal-Tibet border, and it's protected by the Himalayan Sagarmatha National Park. Chomolungma is Mount Everest's Tibetan name, and Sagarmatha is its Nepalese name. Because Nepal and Tibet were closed to foreigners at the time, the Royal Geographical Society in the United Kingdom didn't know the mountain's native names. Many visitors prefer to take a helicopter trip to get as close to the peak as possible without actually ascending the mountain. Mount Everest is not a climb that should be taken lightly. The walk to base camp takes about 14 days in total. It's also not a journey for the weekend. If it's snowing, you won't be able to physically approach the peak. Delays aren't uncommon. Did you know that? Mount Everest is the highest point on the planet above sea level, yet it isn't the tallest peak when measured from base to top. The Mauna Kea volcano in Hawaii, which reaches 4.2 kilometers into the air and 6 kilometers into the sea, holds this title. Because the Earth is not a perfect sphere, Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador is the tallest mountain in terms of distance from the Earth's core, with a top that is around 2 kilometers closer to the stars than Everest's. When to visit, most specialized travel websites recommend visiting between September and November, or April and May, because Mount Everest is safely hidden by stormy snow for the majority of the year. Travelers should travel into Beijing or Shanghai, then fly or train to Lhasa, then drive or walk to the base camp. Alternatively, you can fly into Kathmandu, Nepal, and then take a helicopter to the base camp from there. 2. Harbor of Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro's harbor is bordered by a unique granite and quartz mountain range that was produced by erosion by the Atlantic Ocean. It's also known as Guanabara Water, and it's located near Corcovado Mountain, which overlooks the bay and houses the famed white stone monument of Christ the Redeemer. In terms of water volume, it is the world's largest bay. The greatest way to observe the bay is from the Sugarloaf Mountain cable car or a helicopter, which allows you to take in the entire panorama. The bay's islands, such as Governador Island, Paqueta Island, and Ilha das Cobras, can also be visited. Sunbaking is another great way many locals use the harbor, but it is quite polluted. Did you know that Rio de Janeiro, which translates to January River in Portuguese, is Brazil's second largest metropolis? There is no river there, but when the Portuguese navigator Gaspar de Lemos arrived in January 1502, he thought Guanabara Bay was the mouth of one. When to visit, September-October, before the heat of the summer sets in. When it is safe to travel to Brazil, you can fly directly to Rio de Janeiro. 3. Great Barrier Reef. It's Nemo's home, and it's right outside our door. The Great Barrier Reef is made up of over 2,900 distinct reefs built by billions of microscopic coral polyps, which are living beings. The GBR runs over 2,600 kilometers, covers 344,000 square kilometers, and is home to almost 900 islands. You can still see the reef from a glass-bottomed boat if you don't want to breathe through a tube or risk being stung by stingers. A variety of tour lengths are available, ranging from 1 day to many weeks. A helicopter trip will also give you a magnificent view of the expanse of this marine ecosystem, and you can see almost everything from the air when the sun hits the reef. The Great Barrier Reef is protected by the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park, which is Queensland's first World Heritage Area. Did you know that, while it is a myth that astronauts and satellites have taken images of the Great Barrier Reef from space, it is true that astronauts and satellites have taken photos of the Great Barrier Reef from space. You can travel directly to Cairns, Port Douglas, Airlie Beach, Hamilton Island, or Townsville, depending on whatever section of the GBR you choose to visit. There are trips available from practically every major city along Queensland's eastern coast. 4. Victoria Falls. The Zambezi River plunges 108 meters into a spectacular 1.7-kilometer wide waterfall as it passes the Zambia-Zimbabwe border. Mosi Oatunya, which means smoke that thunders in Lozi, is another name for the falls. This landmark is protected by national parks in both Zambia and Zimbabwe. According to the Seven Natural Wonders organization, when Zambia gained independence in 1964 and many of its geographic names were changed back to African names, only Victoria Falls and the nearby city of Livingstone retained their English names due to Zambians' deep respect for David Livingstone, the Scottish explorer who named the falls after Queen Victoria in 1855. The magnificence of the falls can be seen from the trails that run alongside them, from a boat tour, or from the skies in a helicopter. You have a chance of seeing elephants or other wildlife in the national park from the air. Both the Zimbabwean and Zambian sides of the falls, according to the Seven Natural Wonders organization, offer distinct vistas and viewpoints. Did you know that Victoria Falls is not the world's highest or widest waterfall, but it is the world's largest single sheet of flowing water when measured in both height and width? When to visit, June-July. How to get there: fly direct to Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, or fly into Livingstone in Zambia or Mon in Botswana. 5. Paracutin Volcano. Paracutin is a former active cinder cone volcano in Michoacán, Mexico, because it is the only volcano whose genesis was witnessed and documented by humans in 1943, when it erupted from a local farmer's cornfields. It was recognized as one of the seven natural wonders. It grew hundreds of meters in the first year and is now estimated to be over 3 kilometers above sea level. It erupted continually for 9 years before fading out in 1952, with no trace of it ever being found. The best way to see Paracutin is to take one of the 19 kilometers round-trip hikes to the peak of the volcano. Horseback riding is a popular alternative to hiking because the hike is strenuous. Both routes lead to the summit via lava fields, buried townhomes, and a chapel. Did you know that the most usual approach to Paracutin is through Ngahuan, a town that survived the volcano's eruptions? Despite being severely damaged, this town was saved because it was located on a mountain rather than in the valley where the volcano erupted. When to visit, October through April. Fly into Mexico City and drive west to Ngahuan for around 400 kilometers. 6. Grand Canyon. A day trip or overnight camping hike can be taken to explore this spectacular gorge in Arizona. Exploring the canyon on the back of a mule is a viable alternative for individuals with restricted mobility, and one that visitors delight about. A whitewater rafting tour down the canyon's floor is also available for skilled kayakers. A helicopter trip, according to the Seven Natural Wonders organization, is the greatest way to understand how enormous the canyon truly is. But you can view a lot of the canyon regardless of whatever mode you use. Did you know that the Grand Canyon is neither the steepest nor the longest canyon in the world, measuring over 1.8 kilometers deep and 446 kilometers long? Because of its overall magnitude, size, and wonderfully colored environment, it was chosen as a natural wonder. When should you go? It's debatable. The North Rim roads are closed in the winter, obstructing some spectacular views, and it reaches Aussie summer temperatures in the summer. As a result, spring and fall may be preferred. In certain years, over 5 million visitors visited the Grand Canyon, so make your reservations early. How to get there: fly into Las Vegas, Phoenix, Flagstaff, or Los Angeles for a guided tour leaving from these destinations. You can also make your way to the town of Williams and take a historic steam locomotive on the Grand Canyon Railway to Grand Canyon Village. 7. Aurora Borealis. These naturally occurring polar auroras, often known as the Northern Lights, fascinate anybody who sees them appear as brilliant lines of vibrant color over the horizon or waves across the sky. Legends have been formed surrounding the origins of these celestial lights, which can be found in Greco-Roman, Norse, and Native American mythology, to name a few. According to current physics, this effect is created by solar winds, which are cosmic particles that originate from the sun and appear as various colored lights as they enter Earth's atmosphere. Did you know that in the southern hemisphere, there is also a southern aurora, which is less well known? If you want to view a similar light show but can't make it to the remote reaches of the northern hemisphere, a vacation to Tasmania would be worth considering. When to visit, this will depend on your destination. In Iceland, for example, the greatest period to see the northern lights is between August and April. The best time to see the northern lights in Norway is between late September and late March. To enhance your chances of witnessing the lights, consider staying for several days. How to get there? You can travel to many different places on Earth to see the amazing aurora phenomenon, though it can sometimes be difficult to predict exactly when or where the lights will appear. If you enjoy this video, please like and leave a comment. Thanks for watching.